Well, Kaisho.
Kaisho.
Kaisho is greetings in Basque. So, Kaisho.
Kaisho.
Yeah, so now you know a word in Basque. You know, I've taken Basque lessons, but I must admit, I really can't speak it. Of course, I've taken Spanish lessons too, and I really can't speak that either. But in any event, the reason I mention that is because when I was growing up, to be a true Basque, you needed to have both parents who were Basque. 100% blood. You also needed to be able to speak Basque. So I guess I would have to admit, although I'm accepted now, my father was Basque, my mother was not, and as I said, I can't really speak Basque. But in any event, it is, again, a pleasure to be here representing the Basque. And actually, we, of all the groups, are probably the smallest minority grouping within our larger groupings. We need to rejoice at our mutual efforts to recognize the worth of all citizens. Now, one absent group that we need to remember would be the Chinese. Would any of you be surprised to know that at one time the census for Mount County had 3 Chinese for every one of every other nationality? That would be during the gold mining period, and of course building the El Dorado ditch and all of that. So we have a lot to really thank them for their efforts. Now, the lessons of history shouldn't be lost with regard to the struggles, too, of the other minorities that we now celebrate and honor. The Japanese Americans, as is noted, suffered greatly during World War II. And even I can still remember the struggles they faced with their nationality. I must admit, I didn't even know what Japanese was until near the end of the war. We need to really celebrate the efforts of people like Elmo Smith, who was the mayor of Ontario, later became the governor, who really showed us the way of not only accepting and embracing our Japanese Americans, but what a pleasure they have been to be a part of us all. In my youthful days, I can remember the Hispanic population too. Most of whom were Mexican Americans arriving in the spring and leaving in the fall. And really kind of staying to themselves in many ways. And at times, not being referred to, as I can recall, in very complimentary terms. But that was then. And again, what they have done to add to this community. Now, the Basque came to the area of sheeperies. 1900 census, there were only 34 Basques listed. And 2 of them were maternal grandfather and paternal grandmother. The Basques were referred to as Black Bascos, which again was not very complimentary, which many of the older, my father included, could remember, particularly when he first attended school and couldn't speak anything but Basque and was one of those black and dirty Black Bascos. Now, during the early 1900s, there were even calls for their exclusion, much like it happened to the Chinese. So we have a very interesting history. Now, what are the Basques? They come primarily from northern Spain. They are now included in what's called the Basque Autonomous Community. It's one of the communities that's recognized by Spain as given some independence. They have been very independent. They have their own language, was taught up, and it's not related to any other language in Europe. The size, it's about the size of Massachusetts. And interestingly, it's located on the same latitude. The local grazing laws and other factors led to the decline of Basque involvement in the sheep industry. My father was a sheep herder, his grandfather was a sheep herder, but we have attempted to maintain traditions like dancing, rural sports, card games, and the Basque language. Now, one of the most prominent Basque in our area was Anthony Yraguen. He was our longtime state senator who actually, I don't know whether you realize this, was chosen to be the candidate, the Republican candidate for governor until his health decline put him out of that. And who became our governor? Governor Tom McCall. It was Tony and Tom McCall who sent me back to this county as your district attorney in 1971. Again, you're certainly not as elegant as yours, Kathy. I enjoyed your remarks. But I want to say, on behalf of the entire Basque community, our thanks to Four Rivers for allowing us to be a part of the original celebration, as well as the 25th celebration. And I think for fostering an acceptance for all of us, of all colors, all ethnic backgrounds, and all creeds. And some wonder whether things are improving. But I think an institution like this, and even what's represented here, shows we're making some progress. May God grant us more of the same. Thank you all for being here.